Face reality, people. Movies are dead. Games are dead. Narrative? Dead.
Media is nothing but neural trigger response and viral conditioning.
Wait, what are you two talking about?
All right, we just watched Manchester by the Sea. What do we think? Go ahead, anyone.
It was a very nice film until the last 30 seconds.
It's not a bad movie at all. It's not bad.
No, very, very nice.
It reminds me
I
of
enjoyed
like Gone Girl almost, where it's like kind of surreal drama. Like there's like drama, right, in a movie. Then there's like
Yeah,
surreal, where it's like this is too much shit to be happening in someone's real life,
yeah.
but I still accept it in the movie, which makes it like surreal, like feeling. That's what I got from it. But go ahead, anyone.
I don't think it's too much
Uh,
that happens. I think shit snowballs. It sucks. It's kind of depressing movie, but
Oh sure,
yeah,
but I mean,
it's
there's a lot of good. There's a lot of good
yeah,
like qualities in the movie, but yeah, like Jordan said, it can be a little over the top.
it's kind of unrealistically dramatic. Like there's a lot of shit that happens in this
But
movie,
it's also,
yeah.
but it's also
in
kind
one
of
little
like
family. Good.
yeah. No, I was gonna say yeah. There's a no. You're right. So they what they do is they use a lot of flashbacks
Yeah.
and they leave a lot of things open ended. Like what's his name? They had an uncle that's somewhat like part of the movie, but I mean part of the story, but he's not in the story. But he's like in the beginning, they get like, oh, he went to Minkaton. He's never seen. You never
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
who
Okay.
he is,
Yeah.
but he's kind of like he's kind of something that gets piggybacked. The mother of the kid gets piggybacked, and then Casey Affleck's past gets piggybacked as well. Also,
Yeah.
the kids like love life.
Yeah. He's well. I don't know, man. It comes off as like I feel like I don't get a conclusion with these characters
No,
because
no,
because the kid's like at the same time like he's trying to finger bang. At the same time, he's also like actually
grieving.
like deep down upset about this thing, right?
Yeah,
About the event of his dad dying and the whole circumstances of like he might have to like leave home and live in
so
Boston with his uncle and all that shit. Not that
yeah.
that's not the conclusion of it, but I'm just saying like those were the circumstances that he was like dealing with. But
No,
he's
and so the kid, yeah, the kid has like he's kind of popular. He's playing several sports. He like we said, he's kind of a chick magnet. That's kind of how it looks.
weirdly enough, yes, he is
Yeah,
apparently.
and his relationship with his parents is it's kind of described and it's also not kind of described. If that makes any sense. There's
Well,
things there that you know about it, and there's things you don't know about it.
they kind of take
And
you
so,
for
like,
granted a bit, but
yeah,
yeah, good.
no, that's a good point. They take it for granted. So his life story is there to be seen, but you don't really know. Like, you don't really know nothing about this kid. The kid, who is this kid? As far as like, who are you? What what are you shaping into being? You don't really know. But he's going through the trials and tribulations of a kid who lost his father too young, and
Yes,
how he's. But even everything is like incomplete. Even how he's dealing with it is incomplete.
yes, and we've seen him at like two different ages. One at like where he's like was he like 10 or 11 years old or something like that,
He's like a charming little kid, yeah.
and then next he's fucking 16 or
He's
17
like
or
a
whatever the fuck age he
16. He's
is.
a 16-year-old, like rugged, sure of himself kid. Like the world is in his palm,
Yes,
basically.
so like the scene where I guess it's Gretchen Mol on the fucking couch with her fucking just pussy hanging out and shit on the couch, like
Yeah.
passed out.
Yeah.
Like
And that's like a throwaway scene. It's not really highlighting something about like it is, but it's like superficial almost. Like it's like, oh, he had a somewhat he had a stable father and an unstable mother.
they kind of take us for granted. They're just
Yeah.
like
And
oh
even when he
look,
meets her,
good.
yeah. Even when he meets her, he gets wrapped up in 2 scenes, basically.
Yeah. Like we don't know the extent of her fucked upness because it was kind of
No.
like oh look she drinks there's bottles on the table right and she's passed out on the fucking couch her pussy's hanging out and the dad's like oh shit rush the boy upstairs right and like they kind of took that moment and be like well this is how kids turn out when that happens they kind of like took that for granted type of thing
Yeah.
like a kid will automatically become this thing because they witnessed their mom being absolutely hammered on the couch with
I
her
think the
pussy out.
best way,
I didn't
I
see
think the
that.
best go ahead, Jesse, go ahead.
Yeah, I didn't see that. Like, maybe it was there. I didn't notice that it would have been a consequence of that. I
Well,
I think
yeah.
there's a lot of things that they covered in the film that the the writing was made to not tell you things right away or
Oh,
ever.
you're stealing my thunder,
That's
Jesse.
fair.
Uh,
Yeah,
But
you're
ahead,
stealing my thunder, Jesse. I'm
Go
like,
ahead.
I was gonna say, like, there's a lot of themes that are like, oh, like, oh, that's interesting. This is interesting, but it's like you get 3/4 of it, and then it's gone. Maybe 3/4 is even too like generous. Maybe half of like the theme, like, oh, what happens when you have like a mother who's like an alcoholic or this and that? She's unstable, like an unstable personality. What happens when you have a father who has to entrust every responsibility onto him, and then he becomes sick?
yes,
Then what happens?
and
Then what happens when he has a little brother who's the opposite, and it's kind of a fuck up, or like he's loosey goosey with life.
yes,
Doesn't take anything seriously, and then something happens to him where it's okay now. Like you are at the most serious point in your life. Even past that, like your life is basically over, and then you try to like take the easy way out with like a grieving wife and this and that. Like
yeah. No,
there's a lot
no,
of awesome concepts in the movie, but it's like some are seen through, but most aren't, and that's kind of frustrating because it's like, oh, I can see how this could be a really like it's like, oh,
yeah.
you guys are in the upper echelon territory, and you're almost like at a little bit above average, just because like you didn't see what you set up through.
I want to see the depth of what the mom is going through, or
Yeah,
what's the kid's name? Whatever the kid's name is.
Patty,
Patty,
his mom.
Patrick. Yeah, Patrick.
Yeah,
Like I want to see like instead of just saying like oh well she was a drunk and thus she left the family and that's why then she went to like stark religious side of things like okay that's interesting kind of but also kind of cliche to be honest with you also
yeah,
the same thing with Casey Affleck and fucking Michelle Williams where it's like here's the dad who went through some fucked up shit right he did something fucked up
yeah.
and now he's kind of on the redemption path with the kid right with Patrick like
And then at the end, he
kind of
takes
cliche.
the easy way out, right? At the end, he takes the easy way out.
They kind of left it like a social worker type of thing instead of like
Yeah.
either a hero or like fuck you, right? Either fuck you or you're awesome type of thing. They kind of left it more like he's like a social worker type of thing. Like, yeah, I'm gonna get this apartment and yeah, I'll leave a rollout couch there and shit like that. And so like it's kind of endearing, but also kind of
No, it's
cold and
almost like
social in a way.
I don't know.
Okay,
Maybe,
fine,
yeah,
whatever.
yeah. Maybe we have. I don't know. Maybe they're going for. Well, we're not gonna give you like the grandiose lesson at the end of the movie. We're just gonna show you it. Like if he was just, this is who he is. Like he's always gonna run away from this. Like he just said, I can't beat it. I can't. That was his explanation.
Maybe.
I can't beat it at the end. He was
It's fine.
he's from that little small town. He went back in a moment of crisis, and then it's like he couldn't handle with what his past brought up,
Yeah.
and like all the things that came with it, and he decided to just bail on a kid, basically. Like, yeah, I left
But
you in a good spot with someone who could probably take care of you better than I can, but it's on like I don't know, the kid wanted him to like, yo, like take that step. He was yearning for this guy to be like, yo, you're gonna
Yeah.
like nah, fuck that, see it through. And
Yeah.
he didn't want to see it through.
Yeah.
well, right before he said he can't beat it, like just before that moment, that kid did like all of a sudden because he the kid wanted to stay there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was basically physically getting all of those things he was asking for.
Yep.
But there's two things that came up in that conversation. One is like it's almost like he was giving them away. Like you know,
Yeah.
and then the
Yeah.
other thing when he says you can't beat me, you can't beat it. Well, it was he was saying that like he's thinking you don't want me. So by letting him know like I can't beat it, he's saying it's really not about you. It's like it's I'm still broken. That's what that line meant to me. It wasn't I didn't feel like he's just running. He's like he
Kind of
just can't.
is. Kind of is though. But go ahead.
He
Go
is
ahead.
running.
Finish your
Yeah,
point.
I mean that might be the results of it, but it's but I think the the biggest thing that came out of that for me was he's like letting the kid know it's not your fault, right? Because the kid didn't know at that moment. He was just like, "Damn, like I'm abandoned. I'm
Yeah.
abandoned."
Yeah.
And then by the end, which was like a couple minutes later, like you see they're hanging out. It's like they're hugging. Like he cares about him.
Yeah.
You know?
It does. Uh, my favorite part of this movie was the scene with Michelle Williams coming up to Casey Affleck, and she's like, I hated you back then. Like I said some horrible shit to you. Like I remember, like I treated you like this. Meanwhile, it's like this is who you are as a core of a person. Like I could. She's like, I love you. Like you're an actual like I like you as a person. You're actually like
Yeah.
that scene was like the best scene to me in the entire fucking movie. To where he's like he can't accept that. He feels in his heart and in his mind that he fucked up so badly like there is no forgiving it. He cannot accept her fucking forgiveness,
No.
and she still loves him like romantically. I think loves him.
Yeah.
Like they're giving us room. Like we don't know actually, but that's the way I felt leaving that scene. Where like she actually loves him, right? Like this is the man, like he's the man that I love, type of thing. But he's
And
like,
he's right.
he's like, I can't fucking even look at that.
No.
I deserve
It
to
could
eat.
be more.
He's like, I deserve to eat so much shit that I can't even look at that idea. He's already walking away. He's like, no, yeah, I'm very sorry. Like he's like out of there. He wants to run away, which is fucking it for me in a film like that's fucking beautiful and horrible, right? That's a terrible thing for someone to go through, but at the same time, it's like that's the manly man shit in my mind that people should be looking for from a character of like, nah, I fucked up so bad, I can't do anything about this. You can tell me you love me all day and night, but I have to walk away because I suck ass because I did this one thing that fucked everything up. I can't overcome that, and I'm stuck being depressed and feeling shitty about it. And I'm like, fuck, that's a character. That gives so much depth. That little scene right there gives so much depth of like what this character is about. It's fucking brilliant to me. Yeah,
He
I
ended that scene with
appreciate
there's
that.
nothing. There's nothing.
Yeah,
And
you can't do
so
anything about it.
if there's I mean, physically there, the children are gone, but the two of them are there. So
Yeah,
when he said there's nothing, like it was probably a good scene, but like I was hating her at that time. when she was saying that, like he was, right? And the thing is that like she just gave birth to a child to with some other guy,
Mhm.
and that's also a factor, right? Like I think when he's like,
Yeah.
there's nothing. Yeah, he's broken, but like she's coming back after she's saying that she treated him horribly, like blamed him and loaded all that.
Yeah.
That she didn't support it. I mean, she it's understandable. She could have left there, but she's saying that she was horrible, and then she's with some other guy, and she was physically just with him. Like she brought him. She just had a child, and uh, and now she's saying she loves him. Like I hated her at that moment. Like, very good.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying with that, which is the whole dynamic of it too. Well, because even if he wasn't like, drunkenly playing fucking ping pong with his friends, right? And he just went to the store, that could have happened, right? Someone could have forgot to put their screen on, but she knows that he looks at himself as like, I'm a fucking piece of shit for all of this.
Mhm.
She knows that, and which is why she recognizes, and in my opinion, of the characters at least, that she recognizes that like you're not like, because you hurt so much about it, even though they show him like kind of coldly throughout the movie, right? Of things happening, he's kind of cold about it in a way, but like he cares so much that he has to keep it cold because he'll go to the most drastic measure apparently of pulling a gun out from a fucking cop's fucking sleeve and trying to shoot himself in the fucking head, right? Like you care too much type of thing. I thought that's where they were going with that character in a way. Does that make sense at all?
Yeah. I think that it
She
the
saw that,
coldness.
right?
Yes,
Go ahead.
yes. I think the coldness is actually it's not as much of a contrast to that like feeling inside. I think the coldness is because of that feeling inside. Like you just can't.
Yes,
He doesn't express it.
he's quote
So
unquote manning up, quote unquote manning up, like
it's like manning up. Yeah, yeah.
a
Like
broken version of
putting
manning
up a
up
front.
type of thing.
Like
Yes, yes,
and so he's like shouldering a storm, and so it's just a wall, and so
yes.
it, so he never releases it. He wasn't like when he loses his brother, he loses all these things. He doesn't cry or do anything. Like he looks like he doesn't feel, but that's because he doesn't know how to handle it.
When
Right?
he knocked the window out, you called it like right there, Jesse. When he punched the fucking like the top part of the fucking window out with his bare hand, he cut his fucking hand up and shit like that. You called it out right there. Like, yeah, 100%. Like that's what seems to be going on here, of like being like
The whole time.
bottled up and shit like that. It's like,
Yeah, like we didn't know, like the way they tell it, you didn't know.
yeah,
Like when the movie started, it's like, all right, girls are hitting on him. He doesn't care. He's a cold. He's like this jerk.
he's in the shit spot, man. Yes.
Yeah, but it I actually didn't feel that this was unrealistic at all. Even though there was a lot of things.
There's
I
some
think the way
stuff here, but go ahead. Go ahead.
I think the within the time frame of a movie, there are many things that come in. So in their selection, the the all of the time jumps, although sometimes it was slightly confusing, but I think it was I think that's what enabled them to like we actually spanned several years, different time frames,
Yeah,
and
true.
and that's where it helps it for me to be more realistic because it's not just like all in a weekend or something, like
True.
they kind of stitched it together, and I just think that like when things are shitty, they just snowball more and more. That's just the way things are,
Yeah.
and so I I I, I actually for me this felt like very I probably wouldn't use the word realistic, but understandable.
Okay. Well, I think emotionally there's a genuineness to it. If that's a word. There's a genuineness to it that I think is appealing to the audience. Plot wise, certain things where it's like that's kind of out of pocket of something happening. like this is too many things happening in one person's life type of thing, all at the same time, which I guess is possible too, as well. But right, we're in a movie, right, and there, to where it's more about emotionally. Like, okay, I can see someone going through a roller coaster of emotions through a sequence of events, like something like this. But the sequence of events are kind of like, you're like, God damn, that happened to you, bro. It's like, damn, in a week, bro. God damn, bro. Like that's. But no, I get what you're saying. Like it does hold a sense of realism to it, based on like that emotional part of it, in my opinion. So, all right. Fuck.
feel like that was
It's a
my
solid movie, man. It's fucking solid. Do we have grades? Anyone? Grades?
Give it a solid 8.
8 out of 10? That's a good grade. Jesse, I know you don't do grades. Do you have a recommendation? I'm gonna speak for you, actually. Jesse recommends this movie. I guarantee it, because I do too. It's kind of obvious you recommend this type of movie. But go ahead, Jesse. Sorry.
Man, he said no.
I'm gonna speak over him. Go ahead.
That's fine.
It's a good movie. It's solid, man. It is. Go ahead.
I think I just felt the movie a little too much. It related.
Fair enough.
Yeah, wasn't it? When I heard the title, I'm like, "What is this shit?" And I'm like, "Oh man, this shit." I was fully enthralled. I was fully in it. Of course.
It's not as crazy as Gone Girl, but it's like to where like it soaks you into the movie. It soaks you into the plot and all that shit, man.
Yes.
Gone Girl's a little bit more like, what's the word? Eccentric, something like that, or like a
I'll
little
give you an
crazy.
example. Sorry, spoilers, but when you we already spoiled shit anyways. But when the movie started and he's talking to the kid, I'm like, who are you gonna? If you had to go to an island and you needed someone to stay with you, who'd you pick?
Yeah.
You or your dad? Me or your dad? You're like, my dad. And then after that, he's like doing odd jobs, and like the ladies are hitting on him. I had no idea the movie was gonna take the turns it took after that. After like right before he got told his brother died, I had no idea where the movie was going.
They were trying to hit both, man. They were trying to hit entertaining and also narrative and storytelling.
Yeah, and I was like, "Oh, this is so interesting."
I'm gonna give him credit for that, man.
Yeah,
Credit for that.
that's what I'm saying. Like, this is that was such a nice surprise where they went after that. I'm like, "Oh, this is fun." I forgot all about the beginning. Like, I didn't even care because that's how like invested I was in the rest of the film.
I care for the sake of, like, because I feel like if I rewatch this movie, I'm gonna get kernels of something that are going to play a role in like how I view the movie overall. Like, oh, I didn't know this or that in the beginning of the movie. I learned it in the end, and now when I go rewatch it, I'm gonna find those kernels as I'm watching it, type of thing. I'm like, that means you're doing something like actually intelligent and special, in my opinion, for storytelling wise. Not that I like the overall thing that greatly. I'm just saying, like, to be able to get me to rewatch your movie and like take pieces and parts as I'm rewatching it again, and then like oh shit, like, oh, I get that, or I get this, or I get the theme of this. Not really plot so much. Like, plot is plot, but I'm saying like themes and what they were going for with certain scenes in the beginning of the fucking movie. that maybe didn't make sense while we're watching it in real time, that makes sense later on when you learn like the whole point of the fucking movie. That's the special thing that happens. And for me, 7.9, 7.9, 7.8, 7.9, like above average, 100%. Above
You
average
didn't get
movie.
the freezer thing, the freezer reference, or you thought it was over the top. But I was like,
Oh,
yeah,
the
I
chicken,
mean,
the chicken falling out of the
yeah,
freezer, like
because you
it's a
made
little.
you made a deal out of it earlier about the freeze. It was more than like a passing reference. He was insisting
I
that
want
you
to be in a
shouldn't be in
fucking freezer. Yeah, I know.
shouldn't be in the freezer. Yeah.
But him seeing like frozen Purdue is not like gonna work for me as far as like his
Well, I think
his
up to that moment, he had shown no feeling about losing his father,
kinda
and,
yeah.
and so that was another man like holding all that stuff in, where something's just gonna snap. It doesn't have to be anything like
It's
spectacular.
but the idea of the snap should be more important to you than, oh my god, frozen chicken, frozen father. Oh, I'm upset now. Like, oh fuck, my feelings are hurt. Like, I want more than that. Personally,
He's seen his father.
come on, like the way they did that, man. Like, it for me, it's like a come on, dude. Like,
I think maybe like I didn't like as
do
much
not
that he was
take
like
anything for
holding onto his
granted.
chest, where it kind of confused the whole thing with the. Yeah, I didn't like that part, like, right? Because it was kind of misleading, but
I
yeah,
thought they were going with the the dad has a disease or whatever the fuck with his heart, and the son
yeah,
followed it, and we just watched
that's what
that.
it looked like.
We just actually watched a movie about that, didn't we?
That's
With
what it looked
Minari.
like. Oh, really?
Yeah, they're fucking. The kid has a fucking heart disease, like genetically passed on, I guess. It's like, and the dad in this movie had a rare like heart disease thing.
Got the fire movie.
Simultaneous, yes, the fire that led to the whatever. Anyways, fuck. Me personally, I think you can turn that into something like crazy, actually, for storytelling. But they didn't fuck it up though. I'm not gonna say that. They didn't fuck it up. But they didn't make it like next level amazing, right? Either for me. It's a solid, it's a good movie, man. I 2000% recommend this movie to anyone. Like, it isn't like Minari that we just watched before this, where I'm like, if you like, okay, if the 51st movie of your list here of movies to watch, like, yeah, go watch it. This is more like, hey, man, you haven't seen this movie, man? Go watch it. Go watch this fucking movie. I'll recommend it straight up. I think it's good. I think it's a good
I would put it
movie.
much higher for me. It is
Say it
sad
again?
though. I would rank it much higher for me.
Okay, fair enough.
Although by the end I felt kind of drained, well, even in different parts, it's there's so much happening.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of depressing, but so
Well,
uh,
these
but
dark themes in this movie, but yes, good.
it's dark. To me, I felt like I understood the guy. I felt like the I don't usually see like you're saying the man up, I guess, or the cold facade that he always carried. Um,
Yes.
that's normal for guys, right? Like that's
So
like something
socially, in a
happened.
lot of cases, kinda,
Yeah,
yeah, kinda, yeah.
yeah. It's not like sometimes you're supposed to, even though it was for him, it was much further than like with death and all that. Everybody would understand at that point,
Yeah.
but uh, but he carried that so far, and so I think some of the things that felt over the top, like those reactions or those explosions, are because even in the movie they're so rare that like it you don't see them very often. You don't see what like how that comes about or like usually people think about like the circumstances. Okay, this happened, and that's why it blew up. But it's not just that those things happen. It's that those things happen, and he's not coping with it at the time or throughout his life.
Yeah.
So it 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 turns it looks the result is very unpredictable looking. Like like the moment like he went from like the moment he grabbed the cop's gun and things like that. Like a few
A very dark
seconds
scene.
before, you had no idea.
Yeah. We were talking about it while all was happening. We're like,
Yeah.
yo, does this guy feel anything? Then he's like,
Right.
he's actually at his bottom floor. Period. Like he's like
Yeah.
at the end of his fucking rope type of shit. He's like, yo, fuck this. I'm ending it. I'm like he was actually in that worst place he could possibly be in, type of thing. So
While I watched
yeah.
that, I felt like his actions are saying his actions are saying he's not feeling anything, but it was so far that I was like, this guy is in serious pain because it was
Yes.
it was beyond the norm. It was too much, and so I even though he hadn't acted yet, I felt like this is like really really bad pain.
He was probably thinking about that while he was in the interrogation room. He's like, yeah, I'll say all the words you need to hear, but like when I get out of here, I'm gonna grab a gun and like shoot myself in the face, type of thing.
Yeah.
Like it was actually like at that level, which I thought was like, yeah, that is horribly beautifully portrayed.
Yeah.
It's drastic and it's painful, but at the same time, it's like it is like portraying where a mind can actually go to, which is the point of art, I think, to show you things like that. So I'll give him credit for that, 100%. And the thing with the girl with Michelle Williams, I thought was like, for me personally, I thought those were the best scenes in the movie. Where it's like, no, I can't. Sorry, I can't let myself go as far as being like not guilty. I can't do that. I'm guilty. I fucked up. It's on me. And whatever you say right now, you can forgive me 10 million times. It doesn't matter, bro. It's on me. Like, I will not forgive myself. Not fuck you, but kind of fuck you. I'm gonna go do this over. Like, he has to kind of do that. I'm like, fuck, that's so fucking grounded and dark and legit. Like, this is a good movie, man. But all right, let's end this review. You recommend, right, Jesse, Anthony? You both recommend.
Yeah. Mhm.
I recommend as well. It's actually a pretty good movie. A pretty good fucking movie. So please go watch it. Goddamn, movies are dying to where I giggle at the end of a movie like this. But here you go. Go watch it.